Do you feel like all the therapy sessions, books, and advice haven't really changed you? Have you ever wondered why you always return to the same pain, despite all your efforts to heal? Maybe the way we seek healing is flawed from the start, and Nietzsche knew why over a century ago. There's a strange contradiction in our modern approach to healing. We turn to therapy, read self-help books, practice mindfulness, attend workshops, all promising to mend our broken parts. Yet, despite unprecedented access to psychological resources, we find ourselves trapped in the same patterns, wrestling with the same demons, year after year. What if our very conception of healing is flawed? Tonight, in this shared darkness, I want to explore a possibility that may feel both unsettling and liberating. Perhaps the modern therapeutic project, with its focus on comfort, symptom reduction, and returning to normality, isn't just incomplete. Perhaps it fundamentally misunderstands what human transformation requires. And perhaps Friedrich Nietzsche, that 19th century philosopher with his merciless hammer of truth, already knew why. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. These words, written by Nietzsche over a century ago, stand in contrast to everything modern therapy promises. We're told that with the right techniques, the right mindset, the right medication, suffering can be eliminated. That pain is a mistake to be corrected, rather than a message to be understood. Think about your last encounter with emotional pain. Perhaps anxiety gripped your chest like a vice. Grief hollowed you out from the inside. Depression painted your world in shades of gray. What was your instinct? To make it stop, to return to comfort, to find normal again. This instinct isn't wrong, it's human. But in our rush to alleviate suffering, we may be missing something crucial about the nature of transformation. Nietzsche understood what many modern approaches to healing overlook: that comfort is not the same as growth, that normality is not the same as flourishing, that the absence of pain is not the same as the presence of meaning. He said, "The discipline of suffering, of great suffering. Do you not know that it is this discipline alone that has created all enhancements of man so far?" This isn't masochism. It's recognition that our wounds, when properly engaged, become portals to depths of human experience inaccessible to those who remain on the surface of comfort. Consider the parent who loses a child and, through that unimaginable grief, discovers reservoirs of compassion they never knew existed, or the artist whose depression becomes the doorway to creative expression that touches countless lives, or the recovering addict whose confrontation with their own darkness becomes the foundation for profound authenticity. These transformations didn't happen despite suffering, but through it. Not by escaping pain, but by descending into its depths and finding something there that transcended the old self entirely. There's another problem with the modern therapeutic project, one that Nietzsche identified with characteristic sharpness. Our definition of healing is often indistinguishable from conformity. Look closely at the language of much modern therapy. We speak of adjustment, of functioning, of managing emotions so they don't disrupt our productivity, relationships, or social standing. But what if the life we're adjusting to is itself pathological? What if the society we're learning to function within is built on values that contradict human flourishing? Nietzsche would argue that much of what passes for therapy today is merely training in conformity, teaching the individual to better accommodate themselves to a system that may well be the source of their suffering in the first place. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he writes, "And once you are awake, you shall remain awake eternally." Yet how much of modern therapy is designed not to awaken us, but to help us sleep more comfortably within a dream constructed by others? This isn't to dismiss the very real benefits that therapy provides. It's to question whether functioning better within a dysfunctional context should be our highest ambition. Think of the person medicated for depression without ever addressing the soul-crushing job that extinguishes their spirit daily, or the child diagnosed with ADHD without questioning an educational system that demands conformity over creativity, or the couple seeking relationship counseling without examining the impossible expectations our culture places on romantic love. In each case, the individual is treated while the context remains unchallenged. At the heart of Nietzsche's critique lies a radical proposition. True healing isn't about returning to some previous state of normality or comfort. It's about transformation, about becoming something new, something that transcends both the old self and the limitations of the surrounding culture. He said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." Yet, how many therapeutic approaches treat internal chaos not as the raw material of creation, but as a disorder to be eliminated? This isn't to romanticize suffering. It's to recognize that the parts of ourselves we're most eager to heal, our wounds, our shadows, our contradictions, often contain the seeds of our most authentic becoming. Think about those moments in your life when you experienced the greatest growth. Were they comfortable? Were they painless? Or did they involve descent into uncertainty, confrontation with aspects of yourself you'd rather not see, passage through territories with no clear map? For most of us, transformation occurs not when we're comfortably numb, but when we're uncomfortably aware. Not when we're safely ensconced in the familiar, but when we're moving through the unknown. This is what Nietzsche meant by his famous imperative: become who you are, not return to who you were, not adjust to what others expect, but engage in the courageous act of self-creation. If modern therapy often fails us by emphasizing comfort over transformation and conformity over authenticity, what alternative does Nietzsche offer? While he never developed a therapeutic system, his philosophy points toward an approach to healing centered not on the elimination of suffering, but on its integration into a larger narrative of meaning. He said, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how," a sentiment later echoed by Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps and developed logotherapy based on the primacy of meaning over comfort. This perspective suggests that our psychological symptoms, our anxiety, depression, addiction, compulsion, aren't simply malfunctions to be corrected. They're expressions of a life that hasn't yet found its why, its animating purpose. Think about the difference between these two questions. How can I stop feeling this pain? What might this pain be trying to teach me about what matters most? The first question leads to techniques of avoidance, suppression, distraction. The second opens a door to transformation through meaning-making. This doesn't mean we shouldn't use tools that provide temporary relief. It means that relief alone isn't enough, that comfort without meaning leads only to comfortable despair. Nietzsche's most profound contribution to our understanding of healing may be his concept of the great health, a condition not of mere absence of illness, but of creative overflow, not of return to normality, but of transcendence into new possibilities. He said, "The great health is a health that one not only has, but also acquires continually and reinvents over and over again." If you found resonance in this talk, and if you're searching for a deeper meaning behind pain, chaos, and transformation, subscribe to the channel. Here, in this shared darkness, we create a different light, a light that comes from within you, not from outside.